friends, loved ones, relatives, fans. I don't know what else to say. Welcome back to our channel, or welcome to our channel. So my name is Hannah. Usually I'm paired with my best friend Mariah. That's why the channel is called Hannah and Mariah. But if you're new here, first of all, this is Autumn, after the main character of this book, actually. So she's probably going to be joining us. But I am venturing off on my own for this video because I would like to reread all 20, technically 24 if you count, because like I have The Hunger Games as like one book, so technically 24, but my top 20 books, because I'm going to college. Mariah's also going to college. We're rooming together, and we have to downsize on our books. So this is me rereading my top 20. I've narrowed it down to 20, and I'm going to decide which ones I'm going to bring to college. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. Basically, I'm going to start at the bottom, work all my way up, except like some of these I've read this year or like within like 12 months. I literally put on my rules like in my year. I've read this in like less than a year, so I still remember what it's about. But I am going to be giving you like a rereading summary and a new rating, and I'm going to re-rank them. Also, these are for my grad party. I just used the back of them, so ignore how ratchet they are. But yeah, so it's so cute though. Like, I'm gonna show you my poster thing. I wrote, okay, that's gonna fall again. I wrote like all my favorite books. I thought I could fit 20, but I couldn't, so it's just a little crowded down there. And then I have like a key, and there's like little markings on all of them, and I'll get to that when like I actually read the books. And my rules, so I'll explain those now. I have to have read them in less than a year to rewrite, which I literally already said that. I have to say at least one negative thing about them, because most of these books I'm like, oh my gosh, favorite book ever, there's nothing wrong with it at all, but I will be saying one negative thing about it. I have to annotate something. Some of these already have annotations in them, but I have to annotate at least something, because these are all my copies and they're all like my books, so I can annotate stuff. And I have to finish them before moving into my dorm. I have less than a month. I have 29 days until I move in. Can I read 20 books in 20 days? Thank you. Yes, in fact, we will find out. And I have to read the physical copies, no audiobooks. I love audiobooks, but like most of the time I feel like audiobooks are cheating. I have to be reading the physical copy for it to count. And then when I'm done reading it, I have to summarize the plot and re-rate it and re-rank it upon completion. Happy reading. So without further ado, let's start. Hello, I have the first 5 books reread and time to review. So, first one up, it is the bottom of the totem pole. We have a little blue and a little heart, which means that this is a romance book and that I read it in one day. So this is Stargirl. This is by Jerry Spindelli. It was super popular back in like 2020, which is when I read it. So basically, it's about this guy, and he is from this little town called Micah, and basically he's just a high school student at a really boring school, and like their school sucks, and they like hardly do anything entertaining there until this girl, Stargirl, shows up, and she is just like super strange, but like I literally love her. There's a movie about this too. And she shows up and she just like changes the school for the better, and then everybody loves her because now they're winning football games, and now they're like, everything is going great for them, but then something bad happens, and I'm not going to tell you what the bad thing is, and then everyone hates Stargirl. But Leo and Stargirl, Leo's the boy, they have a little romance. So that is why it's a romance book. But I would honestly say that this book is more of a like fiction, because like the romance isn't like the full focus of the book. So I would say it's more fiction, but it's like very young adult. Like, this is a young adult book. It's really short too. It's only like 200 pages. But yes, it is on number 20. So, next one. Number 19 is Auschwitz Lullaby by Mario Escobar. So I used to be super obsessed with like the Holocaust and Holocaust books, and this is one of those books that I was super obsessed with. So this is about the story of a family. It's a gypsy dad and a German mom, so then half German, half gypsy kids. And it's like the start of the war, and like gypsies and Jews are all getting sent off. So the gypsies, except for the mom, all had to be required to go off to a camp, and then the mom decides she's going with them. So then it shows what it was like to be in a concentration camp, like many other books do. But it is such a beautiful story, and I cry every single time because it's such a beautiful story. Like the amount of things that the mom goes through and does for her kids, like it's just incredible. And also Dr. Mengele is in this book, and she has twins. So, yep, it's set in Auschwitz, as you can tell by the title. So, it's definitely something. I actually love this book. It is so beautiful and so sad. And, yeah. Alright, next one. Oh my gosh, I forgot to say what these things have. So, Auschwitz Lullaby has the Made Me Cry and the historical fiction, and I put it down as thriller too. Forgot about that. But yes, it is all of those things. Sorry. Alright, next one. Hotel Nantucket by Elaine Hildebrand. This one has a star for reoccurring author, and that's literally it. So, anyways, this book I actually love, and this is definitely moving up on the totem pole because I genuinely think about this book all the time. Like, the plot twist at the end was crazy. So I think about this book all the time, and like, I'm really glad that I reread it because it's incredible, and it's definitely going like way up on that list. But basically, it's about, the main character is Lisbeth Keaton, and by the way, I love that name, first of all. So she becomes the new manager of Hotel Nantucket, and Hotel Nantucket has a horrible history because like it has a ghost in it, and like every time somebody tries to open it, something bad happens, and then they have to close it. So a billionaire buys this from London, never steps foot on the property, but Lisbeth hires all the staff and they start it up. But like the person who bought this mega billionaire, he wants to impress two people, and those two people include this girl who actually ends up being the housekeeper, which that's not a spoiler because it like they talk about it right away. So he wants to impress her, like he bought it for her, but he also wants 5 keys from this travel like reviewer person named Shelley Carpenter. So the entire summer they're trying to make everything perfect for Shelley Carpenter. And also they're getting it ready for the billionaire to actually arrive in August, so after everything happens. And it is such a good book, and like it follows so many different perspectives, like, which is what I love about Elaine Hildebrand books, because there's so much drama and it's super good. And like I could probably talk about this book for 10 minutes just about like everything that happens in here. It is so good. I love it. There is romance in it, but it's not a romance book, it's just a fiction book. So definitely recommend that one, and that is going way up on my list. Next one is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, and this one has the I Read It in One Day star and the romance star. So this book is about a girl named Natasha and a boy named Daniel. Now Natasha is an undocumented immigrant, and this like takes place in modern time, by the way. She's an undocumented immigrant, and it's her last day in the U.S., and she spends the whole day trying to find like a way to stay. And then Daniel is somebody who's always lived in the U.S., and they just keep like their paths keep crossing, and like the amount of things that had to happen for their paths to cross, like their stars are interlinked. So they end up making a pact, because Natasha is super like sciencey, doesn't even believe that love is real, and Daniel is a poet and a hopeless romantic. So Daniel is like, I bet I can make you fall in love with me in one day. So he tries to do that. She's like, nah, science. It's like, love is just, there's a quote in here, I could find it, but it was like, science is, okay, I'm not finding that. Science is like making love. Like, it's just like the mix of chemicals or something. And then, do they end up falling in love? It's a romance book, so. Alright, next one. Love that book, though. Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This one has a heart for romance and a star for reoccurring author. So this book is so good. I just read it yesterday, actually. But it's about this girl named Macy, and her mom just died of cancer. And her mom left this super long list of, like, rules that her and her dad need to follow in order to, like, make, like, her life have influence from her mom, basically. So one of the things on there was, if she ever gets to a point where life is getting tiring and she just needs an escape, get a weekend house. So they do that, and they get a weekend house, and at the open house, she walks into this massive library and finds this little boy sitting there reading. And the little boy is her age. She's like, I think 11 during this. But, so they buy the house, and then the little boy keeps coming in. They convert that room to a library, and the little boy, his name is Elliot, and they become the best of friends. But this is also told in dual point of view, from the past and the present. So the past talks about them becoming friends, and then the present talks about them meeting, like, accidentally for the first time after having this massive falling out. So you have to keep reading to figure out what the falling out was, and then, so you're reading, like, them try to reconnect, basically, but there's so many barriers against them. Like, she's engaged now, but they're obviously still in love. And then you're reading the little past from them, like, falling in love for the first time, and then, like, very at the end you figure out what the falling out was, and then it's super good. One of my favorite parts about this is they have this little bit where they go favorite word, and then they say this, like, super crazy word that I've, like, never heard of before, and then the other person says that, and, like, they're always reading, and it's so sweet, and, like, I love it. So that is the first 5 books, and I'm gonna re-rank them all once I've finished everything, but yeah, I also move in, like, let's see, it's the 4th now, so I have, like, 13 days, and I still have, like, 13 books to read. So basically, I've been going at it 1 book a day, and we're gonna see if I can finish it, hopefully. So, I will catch you when I've read 5 more. Bye-bye. Hey guys, we're back at it again. Excuse how ratchet my room is, because I am going to college. As you can see, all of the suitcases over there are because I'm going to college. 3 days. I have 3 days left at home. Anyways, I have 9 books to review. I know I said 5, but I just read through them so lickety-split. Like, I've basically just been doing 1 book a day. And I have 3 days left. 2 more books that I have to read, but I think I might do a bonus book just for you guys. So, first up, this is number 15, Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So this is about a girl named Hannah. Literally me. This book is my book, and it's definitely shooting up on the roster, but I love this book. In Another Life is my favorite theory. It's not really a theory, it's just, like, my favorite saying, and it's about this girl named Hannah, and she moves in, or she, like, moves to the same town as her best friend, and it's like a split timeline of one life or another life that she could have lived depending on this one decision that she makes in the beginning. The first one, she ends up with one guy. The second one, she ends up with another guy. And, like, at the end of the book, it's like, well, I could have ended up with you maybe in another life. And then you read about the other life, and it's so good. I love this book. I absolutely love this book. I got this book because it's Taylor Jenkins Reid, and because In Another Life is, like, my thing that I say. And then I found out that the main character's name is Hannah. So it might be top 5, honestly. Yeah, it might be top 5. Next is another Taylor Jenkins. Oh yeah, I forgot to say what it has. It has the reoccurring author. You can't even see the list. And then it has romance. And then it has Made Me Cry. So yeah, love that book. Another one, Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one has reoccurring author, romance, and what's the other one? Not Read in One Day. I did read this one in one day, though. I don't even know what my thing is. Annotated. This one's annotated already. So, Daisy Jones and the Six, it's a show, and it's a dialogue-only book, which is actually incredible because I figured out, or, like, I realized when I read, I, like, skip words, and I just go straight to the dialogue sometimes, but this book is only dialogue, and, like, it looks weird. I'll just show you. Because it's like a name and then what they say, then another name and what they say. It's like an interview format. But it's basically about this rock band in the 70s. And Daisy Jones is her own singer. And then the Six is a band. And then they form together. And it's so good. And it goes through a lot of like, it goes through like drug addiction, like a lot of traumatic stuff. So I'd probably look up trigger warnings on this one. But love that book. Sam Claflin, who is Finnick in Hunger Games, he is Billy Dunn, who's the main, like, male lead in the show and in the book, so love that. All right, next one is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. So this one has romance. That's all it is on there. So this book is really cute. I'm pretty sure it's definitely young adult, but this one is about a girl named Meredith who lost her sister Claire, and they, like, stopped going to the family farm out on Martha's Vineyard. But they went this year because one of their cousins got married. So she goes there, and then on the because she's on the bride's side, but on the groom's side is this boy named Wes. Is it Whit? No, it's Whit, not Wes. Sorry, I'm thinking of another book. We'll get to that. It's Whit, and they end up having a little team thing because before the wedding, they're there for a week, but the wedding is on like the Saturday. So before the wedding, they have a game of assassin with water guns, and it's incredible. This book, like, the plot is just top tier. I love this book. It is so cute. A really cute young adult. It's not too heavy. It does touch on a lot of grief, but it's not like too heavy. Oh, there's Autumn. So yeah, it is really good. I really like this one. But definitely recommend that, and yes, it is a romance. All right, next one, The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. So this one, I'm pretty sure it has a reoccurring author. It does, in romance. So this book is about a girl named Olive, and her twin sister gets married. However, they have a buffet of shellfish, and everybody in the entire wedding gets food poison except for Olive because she's allergic to shellfish. And then this guy, isn't his name Ethan? Yeah. And then Ethan, because he hates buffets, so he refused to eat it. So literally only Olive and Ethan, like, didn't get poisoned. But the shellfish and, like, basically the entire wedding was free because her twin sister has, like, a lot of luck. And she also got a free honeymoon, but it was non-refundable. So somebody had to go on the honeymoon. And Olive and Ethan are the only people that didn't get sick. And Olive can pass for her twin sister because they're identical. So they go, but the problem is they hate each other. And they have to spend all this time together. And it gets really messy because, like, she's pretending to be her sister. And she literally runs into her new boss on Maui. That's where they go. Like, so, ooh, it's so good. I love this book. The ending is low-key crazy. Like, the plot twist at the end. Love this book. Next one is 28 Summers by Elaine Hildebrand. This is honestly my favorite Elaine Hildebrand book. And is it Ellen or Elaine? I have no idea. But this is about a girl named Mallory who inherits her aunt's house on Nantucket because all of her books are on Nantucket. That reminds me. This is a reoccurring author and romance. But Mallory inherits her aunt's lake house, or like cottage on the island. And then her brother and his friends come up for a bachelor weekend. And that's where she meets Jake. And everybody ends up coming home from that weekend, like partway through, except for Jake. Oh, honey. Okay. Autumn, you were ruining my video. I'm kidding, I love you. So Mallory and Jake stay there, and then they make this pact because they fall. Thank you. Because they fall in love. Thanks, Autumn. And then, so then they have a same time next year for 28 years. They go, Jake comes back to Nantucket, and they have a little romance, and it's so good. I love this book. However, it doesn't end the way I want it to, and it makes me so mad. Literally so pissed at the ending, but it's a great book nonetheless. All right, next one is Book Lovers. Autumn, no! She has my sweater. Give me a moment. I don't want you to pull it off. I'm just gonna like move this right here. So next one is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This one just has romance as the thing. I'll just take that up later. But this book is about a literacy agent, and her and her sister go to this like little enchanted village called Sunshine Falls from one of like the literacy agent's clients' books. And she goes there and she finds her arch nemesis editor, who actually turned down the like offer to edit the book about Sunshine Falls. And turns out it's because he lives in Sunshine Falls, and the only reason he didn't want to edit it is because this author has never been to Sunshine Falls. How does she know what she's talking about? So they end up like hanging out, but they still hate each other because they still have beef from when he didn't edit the book. And like it's about their love of books, and there's like a lot of stuff going on in the sister's life and in her life, and like their mom died too, so like there's a lot of grief that they talk about in it. But basically it's a cute little workplace enemies to lovers. Eat this book up. Love it. This is definitely my favorite Emily Henry book, which is why it's the only Emily Henry book on this list, but I love Emily Henry. Definitely recommend all of her books, especially this one. Next one is The Hating Game, and The Hating Game has that it made me cry and that it has romance. So, alright, The Hating Game is about a girl named Lucy and a boy named Josh. And they work, so basically there's two publishing companies that merge together, and Josh works as the assistant for the boss on one side, and then Lucy works as the boss on the like assistant for the boss on the other side. So both places hate each other, and they have to share an office, and they like have all these games, like the staring game or the copying game, like all of these games that they do against each other to just like make life entertaining, but they hate each other. They despise each other. Like they hated each other in this book, but they despise each other. Literally, both of their passwords are I hate the other person forever. Those are the passwords. So they literally despise each other, but then they start getting closer. But then, like, they're like, they have such a weird relationship, but like, because they don't hate each other, and they start to realize that they're both like in love with each other, because obviously it's enemies to lovers, it's a romance book. But a lot of things happen, and they're both up for the same promotion that would make each other like each other's boss, and then they're like, if one person gets it, the other person has to resign, so there's so much tension. And when they like actually get together, so satisfying. And like what goes on in Josh's life and what goes on in Lucy's life, it's incredible. I love this book. Yeah, I don't know if I've been saying when I read these books, but I read them before. Just trust me on that. So, next one is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Okay, Autumn just knocked down my phone. So, House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This is a thriller. That's it. That's the only thing on this list, is that it's a thriller. So this book is about this girl who's like a famous actress, but she gets in trouble for her like alcohol abuse. So then her mom sends her to their like childhood lake house, but that childhood lake house is where her husband drowned the year before. So she like doesn't want to be there, but like she has to get over her alcoholism in order to like go back into stardom. But there's this house across the lake that's literally all glass on the wall, so she finds these binoculars and starts spying on them, and there's a lot of like suspicious stuff going on over there. And then that's also another famous couple that's living there. It's like an ex-model and then like some app developer guy. But a lot of suspicious stuff starts going on over there, and then the wife, like the ex-model wife that lives across the lake, almost drowns. And then the main character, I need to get her name, it's Casey. But the main character saves her, but then the wife starts acting really weird. And when you find out why she's acting weird, jaw dropped. Jaw absolutely dropped. This is my second time reading this book. I was still shocked. Because literally you never see it coming at all. Like, at all. And, like, you're suspecting all these different people. And it's just, oh, it's so good. Also, the wife, not only does the wife, like, get weird, but she disappears. And you, like, as the reader, you suspect so many people killed her, like, kidnapped her, whatever. But, like, the actual reason why she disappeared, insane. You have to read it just for that part, honestly. But yes, I love this book. It's like the first thriller on here, and the next one is also a thriller. So I low-key love thrillers, TBH. All right, last one for today's list is Verity by Colleen Hoover. This one is a thriller, and it has romance, and it's, what is the triangle? Annotated. Is it annotated? I don't even know. Anyways, Verity by Colleen Hoover. So I know Colleen Hoover has, like, a bad rep, and I personally have read most of her books. And, like, I'm not gonna say that they're bad or good. They are good, but there's bad and good things about them. However, this book, I will die on this hill that this book is the best of her work. Like, literally, it's so good. I don't care if you hate Colleen Hoover. This does not feel like you're reading a Colleen Hoover book. Like, it is incredible. It's a thriller book about this author, and her name is her name is, like, Lawton or something weird. Lowen. Something weird, but she goes by Lauren. That's her pen name. So her mom just died from cancer, and she has, like, no money, so she takes this job to finish Verity, who is another author, and Verity got in a car accident and is now, like, paralyzed. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm just thinking about what happens in the book. Anyways, so Verity has this unfinished series that needs to be finished. So Lowen gets paid like it starts out at $2,500. It gets moved up to $500,000 to finish this series. But the only catch is that she has to, like, go into Verity's house with her husband and kid. And also, two of Verity and her husband, Jeremy's kids, have died. And it's really weird being at her house because Verity's just there, but she, like, follows Lowen with her eyes. I'm sorry, I can't even talk about this without spoiling it, but you have to read this book because it is incredible. But, like, basically, she's collecting, like, all of this data from the books that, like, Verity already had, and then she finds this manuscript that Verity was writing. And it basically shows that Verity is, like, a psychotic woman. And you have to read the book to, like, understand everything. But basically, you gotta either be team manuscript or team letter. Because there's a letter at the end that says that everything in the manuscript wasn't true. It was just an exercise for acting. But basically, are you team manuscript or team letter? I personally have no idea, but this book is insane. It is insane. It is actually so scary, and, like, the romance part of it is incredible. Like, everything about this book is amazing, and I love this book. Not a huge fan of Colleen Hoover, but I love this book. So just separate the book from the author and read this, and let me know if you're team manuscript or team letter. My English teacher, Mrs. Botchin, shout out Mrs. Botchin, this is her favorite book of all time. So, yeah, sorry, I can't really say more without spoiling the book, but, like, just read it. It's great. And I have 2 more books that I have to read, and I have 6 more books that I have to review for you, so I will see you in the next clip. Thank you for tuning in again. Hey guys, I did in fact get a haircut, and I also got my belly button pierced today. But it is the final, like, adding thing to this video. I have all my stuff packed up. I leave tomorrow. In, like, a little over 12 hours, I will be gone, which is crazy. But anyways, last however many books this is, but we'll start out Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love this book. This book made me fall in love with surfing, and it is frankly the reason that I am going to be, like, moving to a place that has an ocean. And I love this book so much. It's about the family of Rivas, I'm pretty sure it is, but like all of Taylor Jenkins Reid books have like the same characters, basically. Like they'll have little Easter eggs, not the same characters, but Mick Riva is in pretty much every single one of her books. But basically, Mick Riva, I don't know. He was this like pop star basically, that he fell in love with this girl, gave her 4 kids, except one of them isn't even his, like isn't her kid. So this poor girl was taking care of these 4 kids, and it's like the way that this is told is the day of a party, because now all of those kids are famous, and Nina Riva is one of the like main characters that like starts out this book. So it's told like the perspective of the day of the party and then until the night of the party, and then it's also told like the backstory of like Mick and his life, and then how the kids grew up. But basically it's just an incredible book. There's so many characters, so you have to like really pay attention to what you're reading. But I love this book, and it got moved way up in my ratings, so love that book. Next one, oh my gosh, I forgot to say this stuff. It has a star for Reddit, or for reoccurring author, and then a heart for romance, because there's romance in there. Next book, this is probably Book Talk's like most popular book, but it's Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And I read this a little, like maybe 8 months ago, but basically it's set in this like fantasy world where dragons are real, and everybody that like wants to be a dragon rider has to go through this really crazy long test and like not die during it. So Violet Sorrengail, I'm pretty sure that's, yeah, Sorrengail, she is one of those riders, but her mom is like a famous like captain basically, and her sister actually died. So she has a letter from her sister, or not her sister's still alive, it's her brother who died. But like there's so much lore in this book, but basically she does it, and I don't know if that's a spoiler because it happens kind of soon in there, but she survives it and gets like a really good dragon. However, the dragon is paired with her enemy's like dragon. So her and her enemy are like, they have to be together now. So it's enemies to lovers. This one has a triangle for fantasy, and then it has a heart, and then it has thriller. So it's enemies to lovers, but it's also so good. I could definitely see this like being on Hunger Games level. And there is a second book called Iron Flame, and then a third book that hasn't come out yet, but I'm so excited. I really like this book, and I 100% get the hype, and I definitely recommend it if you're like more into like fantasy, or like I would recommend this book for a guy. Honestly, I should do a video about like books I would recommend for a guy. Out of my list, I'd recommend this, Auschwitz Lullaby, Daisy Jones and the Six. I read a lot of girl books, but those 3, read those if you're a guy. Or just read romance books if you're a guy, because hashtag masculinity is a joke. So, alright, anyways. Next book is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This one has a star for Reddit in one day, and then a heart for romance. So this book is so cute. It's young adult, so there's no smut, but it is literally so cute. It's about this girl whose mom died, but her mom and her were super obsessed with rom-coms, and there's so many Taylor Swift and movie references in this, and I love it. I eat this up. I actually just got a book today. I got Wuthering Heights today because of this book. So, and Wuthering Heights is like a million years old, but yeah. So this book is about a girl named Liz, and she has this neighbor that she despises, and because they fight over this parking spot, but then her like childhood crush moves back in town, and her neighbor is friends with that guy. So in order to get with her childhood crush, she has to team up with the neighbor to like get the childhood crush to fall in love with her, and it's so good. It's literally so good. It's not to like spoil it, but it is enemies to lovers. However, it's amazing, and I love this book. And there's a second book, but I don't know if it's a sequel to this, but it's somehow tied to it. It's called Nothing Like the Movies. That's coming out soon. Soon. So, yeah, love that book. Next one is just the entire Hunger Games series. And if you don't know what that is, I'm sorry, but you need to get on it. Either read the books or watch the movie first. I don't care. This series is incredible. I was obsessed with it in elementary school. I'm back to being obsessed with it now. There's also there's also the prequel, Songbirds and Snakes, and then there's another one coming out of Hey Mitch's Games. But oh my gosh, boys can read The Hunger Games too. Forgot about that. Boys can read any book, but okay, anyways. Hunger Games. Oh wait, Songbirds and Snakes is literally in this book. Okay, never mind. So there's Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay, and Songbirds and Snakes. It's about Katniss Everdeen, and honestly, I don't know why I'm explaining this, because if you don't know what The Hunger Games is, then you live under a rock. But basically, it's a dystopian world, and on here it's got thriller, romance, and made me cry. But dystopian world where they have a lottery type thing where 2 people, 1 girl and 1 boy from each of the 12 districts that America got turned into, has to fight to the death in the Hunger Games. And then Katniss is one of them, Pete is the other, they fall in love, and fucking Gale's there, we hate that bitch. And then they like take over the Capitol eventually. So incredible. Just please get into this, because I love, and if like you know me and you know my contact, oh my gosh, follow me on Instagram, DM me about the Hunger Games. I love talking about the Hunger Games, even if you don't know me in real life. All right, next one is my second favorite book. This one made me cry. I read it in one day, and it's got romance. It's 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. This book is so sad, literally so sad, but it's so cute at the same time. So basically, this girl named, or the boy named Rune and the girl named Poppy and Rune, they're best friends growing up. They're also neighbors. And Poppy's grandma dies, and when she dies, she gives her a mason jar with 1,000 blank hearts. And she has to fill those up for every time that she kisses someone and her heart almost bursts. So she tells Rune that after her grandma died. Rune kisses her, and they are in love right after that. But then when they get older, Rune has to move to Sweden. I think it's Sweden. Oh my gosh, sorry. I just read this book like 2 weeks ago. How do I not know the details? He has to move, and then when he comes back a couple years later, Poppy won't talk to him at all. And he's still pining after her. She won't talk to him. And it's a whole big thing. Saddest book I've ever read. I love this book. It is incredible. Childhood best friends to lovers is the trope. I'm gonna cry. Read this book. All right, last one. My favorite book of all time, If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. This one made me cry. It's got like all the things. Made me cry, read it in one day, romance. Like, it's got everything. What is the dash? Annotated. I annotated this book. I have a cat named Autumn. She is named after Autumn, and I will be getting a golden retriever and naming him Finny after this book. So this book is incredible. This is also heartbreaking, and unfortunately, in today's day and age, it's been spoiled. So if you haven't read it yet, you probably already know what happens, but it is really sad. But basically, another childhood friends to lovers, but like it takes a long time for them to get there. So, but they're neighbors too. Autumn and Finny grew up together. Their moms are best friends, and they like, it's so sad. I'm just thinking about it. I love this book. They hang out a lot, but then once they get to be middle schoolers, their like friend group split because Finny is like super athletic and Autumn is quirky and different, but like we love it. And then like by the time they get to high school, they're like hardly talking unless their moms are like forcing them to be together. And Autumn's got her own boyfriend, Finny's got his own girlfriend, and they just like don't hang out with each other. And they do end up together, but you have to read it to figure out everything that happened, that comes in there, because it is childhood best friends to lovers. This book is incredible. It gets a lot of mixed reviews, but me personally, I will die on the hill that this is like one of the best books in existence. So I 1,000,000% recommend this. This is my go-to book when I'm recommending books, so make sure you read that one. There's also a second book. This is from Autumn's POV. Second book is from Finny's POV. And it's called If Only I Had Told Her. And it's incredible. And yeah, so that's all of these books. And then I have one more surprise book that I wasn't planning on reading, but it's The Time of the Fireflies by Kimberly Griffins Little. This was my favorite book in elementary school, so I decided to read it again. And it was very much a children's book. This is not young adult. This is like little kid, basically. It's like when you're first starting to read chapter books, but it is low-key kind of heavy. It's about this girl named Larissa, and her family has a curse of like a tragedy happening in every generation. And she almost died. Her mom's sister died, and like from then, like all these daughters are dying. And she gets a phone call. She lives in an antique store, and she gets a phone call from like a phone that's not even hooked up. And like, ring, 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 hello, you need to trust the fireflies. So she's like, what the heck does that mean? So then she like goes out, and these fireflies lead her to this bridge that she had fallen off the year before. That's when she almost died. And then the fireflies take her across the bridge that's broken back in time. And she's got to figure out what's wrong with her family and try to stop the curse. Like, I'm not saying that I won't recommend this, but it is a children's book. Not really a children's book. I think this is young adult, but it's like more for the younger audiences. But it is still a good book. Like, honestly, I just read it today, and it was pretty batty. Gave me a lot of nostalgia because I used to read this book like cover to cover over and over again. Literally, this book and The Hunger Games, I would just read those growing up. So it was great. Not on my list, but it was a good book. And now I have the new rating. Okay, this is a disaster. New rating, you probably can't see it, but I'll like take a picture and post it in the end. But basically, not a lot of things changed, however, some of them did. So, number 20 is still Stargirl by Jerry Spendali, I don't know, Stargirl. Number 19 is Auschwitz Lullaby by Mario Escobar. Number 18 is The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. Number 17 is now Hunger Games, not Hunger Games, The Hating Game. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Number 16 is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. Number 15 is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Number 14 is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. 13 is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Number 12 is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. 11 is Hotel Nantucket by Elaine Hildebrand. 10 is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. 9 is Verity by Colleen Hoover. 8 is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarrow. 7 is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. 6 is 28 Summers by Elaine Hildebrand. 5 is Maybe Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. 4 is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. 3 is the entire Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. 2 is A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. And 1 is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. So thank you for watching me read like 20 books in 20 days. It was lots of fun. I don't think I will be doing this for a long time, but it was like great to see that I can read that many books in that short of time. So thanks for watching. I know this is like not a video with Mariah, so I apologize, but Mariah still loves you guys.
I'm Mariah and I approve of this message.
She's also read most of these books, so she agrees that they're great.
I'm Mariah and I approve of this message.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Literally leave a comment, DM me on Instagram, just like, I don't know, I'll give you a book recommendation. So this list is like my go-to book recommendations, so read them, they're great. I'd say like the best ones to get back into reading are low-key Colleen Hoover books are really good to get back into reading, honestly. Probably my go-to one for getting back into reading, I would say something young adult, like Better Than the Movies or The Sun is Also a Star. Yeah. But XOXO, I love reading, I love books, and I love you guys, and Jesus loves you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below for how much you love us. Mwah. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.